Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. We are at the Woods in Fontenelle outside of Nashville, shortly before the John Fogerty show, and we're here with Shane Fogerty, the guitarist for the Fogerty band. Shane, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Man, great seeing you. Hey, tell me about this #1 guitar you're playing right now.
Well, I play, it's I think a mid to late 90s Les Paul Custom, Black Beauty.
Awesome.
I don't know, it just has a great tone. I love the solid body. It's got a very good rock and roll sound to it.
Yeah, it sounded killer, particularly when you were playing that and John was playing the P90s, the two of them together. It was just like perfect.
Yeah, most of the time I keep it on the middle pickup. That's got that kind of jangly, Credence Americana sound.
Yeah, the perfect quintessential tone. So I say the back of the neck, you've got all the finish off of it?
Yeah, see, that's my dad's doing it.
Oh, really?
You can get on the camera. Yeah, he hates the lacquer.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but it's nice. It's a little smoother when you're sliding up the neck. It doesn't get, when you're all sweaty, it doesn't stick really.
Right.
Which is, it's nice.
Yeah.
Not necessary, but it's definitely a nice thing to have.
Yeah. Cool. So is it basically stock with the exception of the finish on the neck?
Do you know about that, Dave? It's all stock.
All stock? That's 57 classic.
There you go.
Gibson pickups.
Yeah.
Great.
It's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, it's killer, man. So how long have you had it?
I've been playing with my dad about full time for about a year, a little over a year now. So I've been mainly using this guy for most of that time. Yeah, I started on a Rickenbacker. I think a different one, but yeah.
Cool. Well, let's look at that Rick.
Yeah, let's check that out.
You started on your Rick, right?
Yeah.
Which was it?
See, I have a 370 Rickenbacker with 3 pickups, and it's the toaster one. See, this one isn't the toaster; it's the high. They call them the high gain or high something pickups, but it still sounds really good. This is a 360 or is this a 330? This is a 330. 330. Yeah. But this one sounds great. I love to keep it on the bridge pickup and get that even more jangly sound.
Total jangle.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, during sound check, I saw you were living on the Les Paul the whole time.
Yeah.
So is this like for certain songs?
Yeah, certain songs I bring this out. Let's see. On Keep On Chugin, I like to play the lead. We do a little lead guitar harmony, and on the neck pickup, this one just sounds nice and fat. It's definitely a good sounding guitar.
Yeah,
pretty too.
That's what I dig about this band. It's like when you change guitars or when John Fogerty changed guitars, it gets that tone.
Yeah.
Like the Tele sounds like a Tele, you know?
Yeah. That's why he has like 15, 20 different guitars.
Right.
He's a tone master.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so those are the 2 electrics, and then when you go to acoustic.
Yeah. For Mystic Highway, I only played on one song for this set. I usually have a standard one too, but this one's tuned in drop. It has a drop D, but it's also a half a step down from that, so drop C sharp, I guess. So.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And what's the model number on this? 810.
It's an 810, Dreadnought.
Well, that's simple. 3 guitars.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your equally simple amp rig.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Yeah. Okay, so your amp is kind of hidden back there, pointing straight up, and it's 65?
Yeah, stock Fender Deluxe, 65 reissue.
Cool. And how, you run it pretty hot, right?
Yeah, I like to get a little bit of breakup, not too much. At about like a 6, a little, maybe almost 7.
Yeah.
To get a little bit of that natural gain out of it.
Right, and for a small amp, that's like a loud, that's a loud small amp.
Yeah. One speaker.
Right.
Great.
And then all your effects are right here on your humble pedal board.
Yeah,
Tell me about the signal chain. You're starting.
Yeah, I've got my acoustic and electric tuners.
Yeah.
I just got this volume pedal on there. That's new.
Okay.
And my Keeley compressor. It's a 2-knob. On my other pedal board with Hardy Har, I play a 4-knob, but it doesn't make much of a difference. This is almost always on.
Yeah.
There are a few times I'll turn it off, but I love that thing. And then we got the Brent Mason hot wired. I use that for all my lead tones.
Yeah.
And gets the job done pretty well. And then I use this deco if I want a little, extra gain, if I'm playing a little bit of fast rhythm guitar, that's usually what I'll turn it on. Or if I'm soloing, I'll hit on that double tracker switch.
Oh.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah, it's a great sound.
Yeah, just such a classic, old school rock
I've got
and roll
two
sound.
delays down here. They're set. This one's set to a long delay with a little bit of modulation. So.
And what is that one?
This is a Way Huge Echo Puss.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It's analog, and then just a Boss regular digital delay.
Yeah.
Set to kind of a slap back.
Yeah.
Setting. Yeah.
Simple. So with when you're playing with Fogerty, you've got a fairly simple rig.
Yeah,
with your own project.
Yeah, my own band, Hardy Har, I have a slightly more complicated pedal board. I have a Deco and a Keeley, and I've also got a Line 6 DL4. I've got an MXR phaser. I've got a Blackout Effectors dual fuzz that I love.
Yeah.
I don't really do any fuzz with my dad. It's
Right.
kind of more straight overdrive.
Yeah, and you play some vintage guitars.
Yeah, I've got my own custom Rickenbacker 370. It's purple actually.
Yeah,
it
cool.
has the 3 toaster pickups, and then I play a '67 Fender Coronado.
Oh, great.
It's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, those are great, man.
Yeah, and I have a Martin D28 custom made with Adirondack wood.
Wow,
Yeah,
perfect.
It's a great sounding.
So you save those for your gig.
Yeah,
and then-
I don't want to bring them out here because when you're on the road, they can get beat up.
Right.
and Those are my only
Yeah,
guitars.
yeah, right.
My
Right,
dad's got a
perfect.
few extra to share, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easy. Man, well Shane, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank
Pleasure
you.
meeting you. Have a great time on
Yeah.
the tour. Hey, I'm here with guitar tech Dave Whiston. Dave, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
Hey, man, tell me about these guitars. These are all in your care.
That's correct.
Absolute historic instruments. Let's start with this bad boy over here.
This is significant. He started out with a Rick. He had a Rick stolen out in front of the record label.
Oh, really?
And so he was in New York, or went to New York, and he was looking for a Les Paul Standard because Eric Clapton was playing
Sure.
one, and Jimmy Page had one, and he's like, so he went into, I don't know if it was Manny's, but it was some music store, I don't remember now.
Yeah.
And the guy, he goes, I want to check out a Les Paul, and the guy goes, well, I have this black custom. He's like, well, okay, I really wanted a Sunburst, but I'll check it out. And he plugged it in and he tuned it down to D, because he, like a blues, like the old blues guys tuned down to D. And he plugged it into essentially a bass amp, which was the Custom 215.
Yeah.
And that was that Fogerty sound was born.
Right.
So
That's it. Let's see that guy.
Yeah. This is I believe 68. This is
Oh,
original.
how great.
Yeah. This one, I'm not sure about the pickups in this. I think these are original though.
Man, it looks original.
Yeah, no, I think these are original. I have some that have been replaced. But this is, one of his main go-to guitars.
Wow.
I have several of them varying in vintage from 68 to 72-ish.
Yeah.
So that range. They're all heavy mahogany.
But that's the
Old
one.
mahogany. These probably weigh 9 pounds, 10 pounds.
Wow. Hold on, can I hold it for a second?
Sure.
Ooh, wow.
I mean, that's how they made them in the 60s and 70s. And they have a very distinctive sound because they're dense.
Yeah.
Dense, hard, heavy mahogany with a slim neck.
And is that all mahogany?
This is all mahogany this
Okay.
year. I believe this is before they started sandwiching them.
Yeah.
But I think this is actually a maple cap.
Okay.
So
Because I know some of them were some of the Black Beauties were
the
all
original
mahogany.
50s were all mahogany.
Yeah.
And I think these are maple capped. I don't think when they reissued these in 68 or whatever the first
Yeah.
ones were,
Yeah.
I think they actually were maple caps.
Okay.
And then they
cool.
went to a sandwich where they were two-piece.
Right, the 70s sandwichy.
Right, yeah. This is his main guitar that he loves. We use this a lot. He's come to love this one, I think, the best of all his gold tops. This is also a 68 wrap
Yeah.
tail. I mean, I could be wrong on the years. I just had to check all the serial numbers on these. But they're all like 68, 69, 70.
Yeah. Do you have any intonation glitches with the wraparound like that?
Not really. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get it absolutely spot on, but
Right.
for rock and roll, it seems to work okay. I believe that the wrap tail has a very distinctive sound.
Oh,
This is the only wrap tail we have, and he relies on it more and more, and he really loves the sound of this particular guitar. This does have the original P90s in it.
Yeah, that guitar during sound check sounded amazing.
It's really
I mean, good. Yeah, huge.
Unfortunately, yeah, if I have to use, he won't accept a spare.
Right.
Sometimes I'll try to get him to switch over, and he's like, no.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's amazing that he's been touring with these guitars for
Right.
since '68, and they're in good shape.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. We have 2 touring rigs.
yeah.
So I have this rig and I have another rig that's basically identical, as much as what I can get it identical. So there's other gold tops and customs in that rig, and they're vintage. So that's pretty much what we're going to go through. I have close to duplicates for everything.
Oh, great.
The next guitar would be this.
Oh yeah, let's look at this. That's a historic.
This was made by Phil Kubicki. If you know famous for his basses, Kubicki basses.
Oh sure, yeah.
The original one was designed by him. I think Phil more or less designed this. It's very ingenious. If you take this back panel off, the electronics are all controlled in here. These tuners actually pull, this top comes off, and the tuners pull through the body this way.
Wow.
So when I string it, it's pulling down over the bridge.
Oh, cool.
We had John had the original one made. He decided at one point, I only have one of these. Maybe I could get another one made just in case. So he had 2 more made. One was destroyed in the Nashville flood.
Oh yeah.
The original one we don't bring out anymore. And this is the only one I have that we use on the road. So I have to cart this around from rig to rig because we have one and that's it.
How's it play?
It plays great.
Huh.
And it sounds very much like a Strat. It's very Stratty. Amazingly, it sounds really good. And I was told that this was actually a brand that they called up Louisville Slugger, Phil Kubicki did, and they sent him the actual one of their brands, and that's from the factory.
Cool. How great. Can you show the side again where the
Yeah.
where those? That's so crazy. So
Really
a 3-way or 5-way
switch with 2 tones and a volume, master volume, and then the tuners.
God, that is so crazy.
This is on a hinge here. This top lifts up, and then the tuners are in there.
Oh.
But it's pretty amazing, pretty ingenious design.
Yeah.
Really, really amazing.
Put me in, coach. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
This guitar was made. This is a gift from John's wife. She had the concept for it, and she tasked me with getting it built. So after going back and forth with Gibson quite a bit, we managed to get it built. It's pretty much what we wanted. It's a very dense. This doesn't feel that bad, really.
Yeah. Ooh, man. Yeah, that's a Haas.
It's a heavy, dense mahogany. They tried to talk us into using a lightweight guitar. We're like, no.
Yeah.
This is what we want.
Right.
This thing came out great. Sounds exactly like we wanted it to sound. John was very happy with it, and the idea for the plaid was hers as a gift.
Right.
And there's a plaque that's inscribed from his wife to him
Oh, that's great.
on the back. And this is new. We got this in last November or October. But he really loves it.
Yeah. What's not to love? That's awesome.
Briefly, the amplifiers. These go the customs for the original, like Creedence, Sound Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, all that. We to emulate the old custom amp. We use a diesel amp, the VH4 through a 215 amp pig cabinet with guitar-specific speakers. They're Eminence something.
Okay.
But it's a guitar. It's not a bass 15. It's a guitar 15. So for the high gain sounds that he uses, the rock sounds essentially, they're Cornford MK50H amps that were modified from the factory to be 100 watt amps because John prefers the sound of 100 watt amps. He wanted them that way. They sound amazing. I think Cornford went out of business. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
I went online to check it out, and the last time I heard, I don't think they're making them anymore. Really well-made amps. If you take them apart, they're just constructed beautifully. They're very simple and elegant design. Classic amps.
And you have
They have
one
massive-
that you use and one as a backup.
One that I use, one's a spare. They have a ton of gain, and their channel switching, which just really adds. They're not full channel switching. It just adds a gain stage, I think. So he uses He uses massive gain when he solos. It's unbelievable how much gain it is. And then for the
It's funny though. It doesn't sound all that dirty,
right,
but
it doesn't. It's kind of still singy and
yeah,
clean. But there's a lot of gain going on.
Yeah, every note's really to sync, but yeah, you can
They're still
tell it's-
stringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we use that with that and the Ernie Ball guitar and some of the more rock sounds.
Okay.
And the reason I mentioned those 2 amps to get to the last stuff he does, which is all on the Telecasters, and they're through Dr. Z-Wreck amplifiers. This is a Fender custom shop guitar that they built to John's kind of specs. It's pretty much just a straight ahead telly. It's got a banjo tuner for drop. It's got locks on it.
Yeah, cool. And you've got this switched around.
Yeah, it's switched around. A lot of guitar players do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So.
Yeah, more convenient.
Yep. But I mean, it's pretty straight up. Honestly, I don't know. Those are what those pickups are in there. But this came from Fender. This came off
looks
from
like
Fender.
a Strat pickup in the neck.
Correct.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a custom shop hot rod. They don't call it a hot rod, but they actually call this a hot rod. That's a hot rod telly.
Yeah. Cool.
And he plays these through the Z-Wreck amps. He went and saw Brad Paisley play, or met Brad Paisley at some point, and was like, "What are you playing through?" And he was playing through Z-Wrecks, and John's like, "I got to get me some of those." So, and he loves it. The sound with the telly and the Z-Wreck's kind of a very classic, bright, and they're essentially Voxy-ish,
yeah,
kind of AC30-ish amps, but a little gainier.
Yeah, a little bit of bite to them.
And that's essentially
in this Rickenbacker. Let's talk about that guy.
And the Rick, you know, his very first record before his first Rick was stolen, was I believe done all on a Rickenbacker, one guitar. Oh. So this is more or less, you know, a duplicate of what that guitar was.
Right.
So this is a duplicate of an early '60s. I believe that would have been a 360 at that time, with the toasters. They did reissue these in the '90s as a Pete Townsend model.
Okay.
So we have a couple Pete Townsend versions, and then and this one.
Great.
And this one, I'm not sure of the vintage of this one, honestly. I inherited it with the gig, so.
Sure. Yeah, that's a lot of guitars to keep up with.
Yeah,
it's a lot of string changes.
It's a lot of string changes. Not so many.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, let's talk a little bit about effects.
Okay.
Okay. So, Dave, you're controlling all the effects,
correct,
right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it, how it all works.
It's a Bradshaw custom audio electronic system. This is the main controller. It controls this and this. These are essentially mixers. This is a mixer for the wirelesses. I have 10 channels of wireless, which you can see it's kind of a handful.
Yeah.
And then this actually takes the output from the wireless and goes into here. This has the effect loops in it and also the amps outs. So it's fairly simple, really. It looks complicated, but it's really not. This controls these two mixers essentially. So you have the loops. It can be preset. So you know I can preset to a certain sound, and then it'll pull up a selection of whatever I've chosen to put in the loops, and it'll assign to whatever amp I want it to go to. That's pretty simple.
Great. And let's see what's in.
And then for effects, we don't have a lot really. He plays a lot of pretty much straight ahead sounds. This is a small stone. Or small clone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's anybody that's been around music for 40 years has seen one of those.
Classic sound.
We use it on one song. We use it for this is a tremolo that was, or it's actually it's a vibrato that's custom made for him in like around 1980. We've had tons of guys look at it, try to duplicate it. Everybody failed. We finally, just last week, got a hold of found the guy that built it.
Oh, really? Cool.
It's very, very specific. We haven't found anything that sounds better or does the same thing. It has a tremolo and vibrato, and you can sync them. Huh. So it's doing a vibrato and a trem simultaneously, and you can vary the speed and the depth. Cool. So it just has a very unique sound. It's quiet. It sounds really good. Only one in the world so far.
Yeah,
see if we
great.
can. John brought this in. He really liked the sound of it. It's a Moog Fugger.
Yeah, I know. We did a review on that. That's a very cool
I use that
film.
specifically for slap. Mostly on that when I'm doing the Telecasters and the country style stuff. We put a little slap on the guitars.
Sure.
This is a long delay that I use for one solo a night. Surfrider Verb that I use just for a couple songs, usually mostly on the Telecaster.
Cool.
This is a Big Sky. This is in the Cornford loop. It's on the wrong setting too. There we go. This is just in the Cornford all the time through the effect loop, just to give a little bit of reverb presence to the sound.
Sure.
This is a digital reverb, Boss Digital Reverb RV5, which is used specifically for one song. Tremolo is really not used very often. Certain songs we use like faster trem, like a vintage style trem.
Yeah.
So 50s kind of a 50 style
Born on
thing.
the Bayou kind of.
No, it's more of a fast trem that we use on others, not on Bayou. The Bayou sound is
Bayou
all
seat,
that.
that one? Okay,
It's
cool.
all Bayou right there. This is a box of war, Renin cuff fuzz box that we use for specific solo. The meat and potatoes really is these 3 boosters. I use these a lot, and I use these to mix the levels of different guitars with different amps. I mix them on the fly sometimes, you know, with my in-ears. I'm actually listening to him all the time and kind of balancing the signal to, you know, to really mixing it really live.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically this is a straight ahead boost. I use this for his solos. There's RC boosters, exotic effects RC boosters. I use this as a cut. So I use this at a gain cut for when he's playing, like say he's intro to a song, then he goes into the verse, I'll cut the gain down on his guitar.
Yeah.
You know, this I use specifically for a gain boost on the Telecasters. So I use this as a solo boost for the Tellies, and I have the gain rolled all the way back and the volume up. So it's just a clean boost. I have a little bit of top added to it, a little bit of bottom taken off. So it just gives a little more bite when he solos on the Tellies. And that's the effect of, that's all his effects. There's really not much going on there.
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
And it's not a lot. They're they don't get used a lot. There are only a few of them, and they're very specific for specific songs. So that's what I do every day.
That's great, man. Well, Dave, thanks so much for your help, man.
My pleasure,
Really
man.
interesting.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, till next time.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.